Hello everyone and welcome to the Talks a Lot Boys. I, as always, am your host. My name is Tyler, and today I am once again joined by the boys. We've got Brennan.
What's going on, folks?
And we've got the lovable Kyle.
How's it going, guys?
Guys, today, September 17th, as of the time of this recording, what a day. What a day to be alive and to be a fan of good music, because we got two super stellar album drops today. One of which being The Architect by Idola, which we are going to be reviewing in another video. But first, let's talk about Spiritbox's debut full-length album on Rise Records. It's Eternal Blue.
Yes, it is.
Oh yeah, dude.
Fuck
Hell yeah. And as we do on this show, we're going to take it upon ourselves to not only give our thoughts on this album, but also rank every single song on the album from worst to first, because we hate ourselves and we love arguing about stuff that doesn't matter. So before we get into the carnage, I would just like to hear your guys' initial thoughts on this album, because we haven't really gotten a chance to talk about it today. So Brennan, let's start with you, since I know you are the bigger Spiritbox fan between the two of you. I would like to hear your thoughts.
I gotta say, they definitely they picked the singles very well. All of the songs that came out before, I feel like, are towards the top of the album. That does not mean that any of the unreleased singles on the in the album are bad at all. But I mean, this album's, for me, it's kind of top heavy, but that doesn't mean the rest of it's bad. But definitely a good blend of pure singing, definitely some heaviness. They got some pretty nasty riffs. They seem to be really big into two-tap breakdowns where there's two strums kind of in a section or whatever. I really don't know how to say that, but I mean,
we know what you mean.
Yeah, they seem to be rampant throughout the album, but it's definitely hard hitting. So I think it's a good record, very good record.
Cool. Kyle, agree, disagree, in a completely different universe? Where are you at?
See, I agree and disagree with you, actually, because I agree that I do kind of agree that it seems top heavy to me. In general, as I listened to it, I felt like a lot of the real standout songs were near the top of the album. But I don't know if I agree that the singles were my faves, if I'm being honest with you. I think some of them hit. Yeah. Some of them hit, but some of them, as far as the singles go, especially because when all the singles came out, I liked them. There wasn't any single that I was like, oh man, this one's weaker. But then in contrast then to the rest of the album, there are a couple singles that kind of fell by the wayside a little bit more to me. However, the sentiment of it being a really good album, I agree with. I think this album really does slap. I think they try a lot of things. They dabble a lot in electronic EDM bits here and there. They kind of splice it in, use it really well. They also have a really great sense of when to kind of pull it back and then when to hit you again. That kind of gauging of momentum is just really, really present throughout the entire album, especially where songs kind of flow one to the next. I really felt not only was it cool that they kind of transitioned one to the next to make it an experience, but the songs actually felt like they were connected more. I don't know. It was really cool. Like you said, I'm not a huge Spiritbox guy, but I am the casual Spiritbox listener. I hear a song and I go, nice. But I tell you what, this album does fucking slap. I like it a lot.
Yeah. Good shit. I do definitely agree more with you, Kyle, on as far as the singles go. I definitely think that there are a couple singles that don't necessarily, and no song on this album is bad. I'm in the camp of I think this album is a masterpiece. It fucking blew me away, knocked my socks off. I listened to it a second time immediately after finishing it the first time, because I just could not get over how great this album was. But I definitely think that a couple of the singles are kind of lower tier compared to some of the other songs. There were some really great standout tracks that were not singles that really stood out to me. I mean, there was some really, really, really good shit on this album. And I think, the main thing that I like about Spiritbox personally is just that they managed to sort of blend these two very different styles of music and kind of seamlessly bring them together. Because you'll go from her like soaring clean vocals and kind of this like slow stripped down stuff, and then they mesh it seamlessly with like some of the heaviest shit you've ever heard. And like it's one of those things where like it shouldn't work, but it does, and it's incredible. I think that Courtney LaPlante, or whatever her name is, I think that she is like one of the greatest vocalists of our time, and that is on display in this album just because of the versatility she has to go from like one of the most beautiful voices ever to just like gutturals, and it's great.
No, like hard agree. Like that blew me away throughout the entirety of listening to this album. Like, you know, I was saying like it kind of felt like a song that transitioned to the other, kind of felt like they were connected. In the same way, they would contrast because one, it would be like a slower, like her just kind of like soaring vocals, like you'd say, and then immediately it'd connect into her just absolutely tearing it up. And I'm like, holy shit, we are getting like the fucking both sides of the coin here. And damn, man, I was impressed as fuck, specifically with the vocals throughout this entire album. Like,
hell yeah, man,
she fucking killed it.
Well, let's get into it. We're gonna talk about every single one of these tracks, and we're gonna try to order them from worst to first. We'll see how angry we are at each other hashing this out. But we're going to try to do it as objectively as possible. Before we can order them, we need to see what we have to work with. So I'm just going to run down all the songs on this album in the order they appear. First up is Sun Killer, followed by Hurt You, followed by Yellow Jacket featuring Sam Carter, followed by The Summit, followed by Secret Garden. Next up is Silk in the Strings, followed by Holy Roller, which is one of the heaviest fucking songs I've heard in a while. Followed by Eternal Blue, the titular track of the album. Next up is We Live in a Strange World, Halcyon, Circle With Me, and finally, Constance.
Wow.
So,
wow.
I have an idea of where I want to start.
Ooh.
But I always feel bad starting since I'm technically not supposed to. So, does anybody have any thoughts? Anything they want to throw on the chopping block immediately for the bottom spot?
Man. I'm gonna cede that to Kyle.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
I mean, Kyle, you can default to me too. I can be the bad guy first if you want.
Oh man, that's tempting. It's tempting. However, because I'm like the most casual of all of us as far as Spiritbox goes, I feel like maybe the people will be nicer to me when I throw a song down.
You know, that is a very good point.
Yeah.
So, man, there's like three that I'm kind of bouncing around with in my head. I don't really know like what one deserves to be at the bottom, because my issue with the songs is I feel like they're all very good. They do what they do well, but like there isn't like as much going on, or like it's kind of like a lot of repeated things going on in them. And one of them is Silk in the Strings.
Yes, I agree.
Cool.
Actually,
cool. Another one I'll just throw out there right now, and I'll kind of talk about it too because it's not exactly the same boat, is Eternal Blue, the titular track.
It's fair. And
my reasoning for Eternal Blue is a little different. Whereas like with Eternal Blue, I feel like it does a very good job of being like that kind of mellow break between like some heavy stuff going on. And she fucking Courtney LaPlante absolutely fucking kills it with the vocals in this track. It's very like smooth, very chill. But like I feel like other songs in the track, the one that immediately came to mind for me was The Summit. I feel like just does like what this song does better. And this song kind of does like that repeating thing until about the bridge, where I feel like then it becomes like a really cool fucking song. Like the entire bridge all the way through the ending of the track, there's just so many cool like guitar riffs going on. She soars, there's some layering, and I even put in my notes like it kind of breathes life into the song, because like all of a sudden it's like, oh shit, like there's like a lot of complexity now all of a sudden. Whereas like a lot of other songs on this track, or on this album rather, I feel like they they just constantly are like shifting, doing things, adding little things in on the next verse to keep building and stuff. Whereas this song really just doesn't give me that kind of vibe. I still really like it. I think it sounds really good. I just feel like other tracks do what it tries to do better.
Yeah,
I guess
I can agree with that, but I also think that there are several songs that don't do as much. So I don't think that this should be in the conversation yet.
Okay.
I think that Eternal Blue is definitely not going to be the best track on this album, but I do think that it does enough to stand out. Like you were saying, like especially at the end when they start throwing in a bunch of shit, like I definitely think that is enough to at least get it to middle of the pack territory.
That's fair. I honestly was interested to hear what you guys thought about it because I'm kind of torn on it, right? Because like the first half sounds good, but doesn't really do a lot. And then the ending finally does stuff. And I'm like, the fact that it doesn't do it the whole time, is that like an even bigger hit against it? Or like, does that redeem it?
Well,
and I'm kind of down
I didn't even really have an issue with the beginning, honestly. I mean, like, because I was kind of impressed with the fact that like at the beginning, because it starts off like very slow and kind of like stripped down. And like, she just has this like, her voice just has so much power and it just goes through the whole thing. And the instrumentals will just seamlessly like shift and without like dropping a beat at all. And I think that's just like really fucking cool because it'll just go from like this stripped down thing and all of a sudden like the fucking drums kick in, it's chuggy, but like her voice kind of like stays the same. And it's like, it just kind of shows off like how her voice can mesh with like multiple different styles without having to like actively try. It just feels like they're kind of like, I don't even know, like playing like different songs under like the same thing that she's doing. And I just thought that was really cool. But I do agree that I think a lot of the impressive stuff happens more toward the end. Like all the stuff of note, but I do have like a ton of notes on this song.
Okay.
I'm
down to like hold it. Kind of like put a pin in it for later then. Okay. Chat about some more. I guess I'll hop back to like my first thing I mentioned was Silk and the Strings, which I do feel like suffers from the first thing I said, where like it has some cool, like really cool riffs in it, and it's very heavy, and like what it does really well. However, I feel like it's like only adds like very little things every time it comes back around to like the chorus again or something. It's really chuggy, it really hits hard. I think the biggest like takeaway from me is like seeing it live, this song would fucking vibe. Like it would be, you just fucking throw it down. It'd be a blast. And but I feel like objectively looking at all the songs on the album, I just feel like it doesn't do as much the whole time. Like there's not like the roller coaster thing that we say, you know, like it just kind of does like a chuggy verse, chuggy chorus, a chuggy verse, a chuggy chorus, and it ends like
Well, actually, my thing is, because I agree. Like I was thinking of this being at the bottom of the pack too. This. And don't murder me in the comments, but I think this and Holy Roller should be the bottom. Solely because they are both incredible songs, and they're both heavy as hell, and it's awesome. And they like knock that shit out of the park. The reason I think that those should be the bottom tracks is because those are the two tracks where it is like just heavy the whole time. And I think that while they do that incredibly well, the reason I come to this band and like the main takeaways I got from this album were in the way that they kind of like blended the styles together, where they would have like a lot of clean stuff and then some like unclean stuff to kind of like just come in and spice it up. So I think that like the fact that those two songs were just heavy the whole time made them stand out less to me in the long run, because I felt like it was just missing this huge element that I really like about the rest of the album.
I agree. That was like the single I was kind of hinting at whenever at the beginning of the episode was Holy Roller. Just kind of, I don't know.
Yeah.
I agree with you completely, where it's just like it's really heavy the whole time, and I think this band really like soars when they try to do a lot of things and like make it really complex. Whereas with these, the one thing they did was really strong, but that's like you, I don't really come to this band for that. Or like that's not what I ended up finding my favorite things throughout the whole album.
That's fair. Brennan, what do you think?
I mean, I can't really argue against those points. Like, I also feel like for myself, Holy Roller, I have a little bit of fatigue towards it because like this song came out a long time ago.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting that to be on this album, honestly. because that came out a long time. Because
I had
that
a
came
feeling
out
it
that came
would.
out before Blessed Be, and Blessed Be isn't on the album.
Yeah,
Whoa.
which is pretty mind blowing. I mean, I don't know if they just. I mean, I really don't know the thought process behind that, but
I don't know.
I mean, also like I thought that the remix with Ryo Kinoshita from Crystal Lake was better because he added like a whole other element, but then like the song sets out to do one thing and it totally conquers that one thing, but then you have pretty much an entire album that tries to blend things, tries different things. I mean, they even brought in Sam Carter from Architects for a song, and that song actually slaps as well. It's just I can't really argue with your thought process of this and Soaking the Strings, even though Soaking the Strings has probably one of the nastiest riffs I've heard
for sure.
It definitely
in a hot
does.
minute.
I wrote that in my notes like 3 times on that song, I think. Just like, this is nasty.
Like if this band was like just heavy, like those two would have to be towards the top. But like Spiritbox, I mean, you mentioned like Courtney LaPlante has such versatility. And, we see that. I mean, sometimes it sounds like Evanescence brought 7 strings.
Right.
And
That's a pretty
Amy Lee singing.
That's awesome.
And there's just chugginess going on. And it's just like, ooh, I'm fucking here for it. And like Courtney LaPlante, like she's so much more than just like an unclean vocalist.
Right.
And I feel like those 2 tracks, even though I love them, they kind of limit her to that. They put her in this box. Yeah. And like that's not what the album's for. I don't feel.
I'm glad that we kind of all see eye to eye on that. Yeah. I was worried I was gonna get some backlash for that. But yeah, so can we agree that we can lock those in at the 12 and 11 spots?
Yeah, I actually want to ask Brennan first.
Actually, wouldn't it be? Wait, no, I'm wrong. Yeah, you're right. 12.
Yeah, there's 12 songs.
Because like Brennan, you had like the last word on like those 2 songs. I'm curious to know what order you'd put them in.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, Holy Roller, I have a lot of fatigue. However, I do feel like it's a very strong song, but I feel like Soaking the Strings kind of does like just a tad more.
I agree.
Like some of the instrumentals in the background, like you can hear like some tappy tappies going on. And like there's parts of the song where it's just total chaos, while Holy Roller is more of like just really hard chugs and like not too much intricacy that I think Soaking the Strings kind of pulls off. So I'd probably put Holy Roller at the bottom.
I'd agree.
I completely agree.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Cool.
I also think that's the other big thing for me is like the riffs are awesome in Soaking the Strings, right? But I feel like also Soaking the Strings does kind of do like little variations of like the bass riffs and stuff every time they come back to the same thing, and that I really appreciate because it takes a song that's just like primarily heavy and does add like slight variations, so you're getting a little bit more of like an experience throughout the whole thing that varies. Whereas Holy Roller, I didn't feel like it did that much, like the taps you were saying, the little things like that. I feel like were cool little like spice to add on top of like a heavy cake. This one, the Holy Roller really doesn't do that. So I'm in agreement. I like it.
Cool.
I dig it.
All right, we're gonna lock that in. Holy Roller is 12. Soaking the Strings is 11. What is gonna be number 10? Well, here, do we want to go into a round of tabling just to kind of get some stuff out of the way?
I mean,
or is that too early?
Ooh,
it does feel a little early, but I wouldn't be opposed to this. Because that would leave us with like...
That would leave us with...
7 songs?
6? 7? Yeah, 7? 7.
I believe.
7. I haven't done math
it'd be
in years,
7,
but it's 7, yeah.
What's math?
Because that'd be 5. So yeah, 7.
Yeah.
Hey, it's better than 10.
It is better than 10.
What about 2 rounds of tables?
Well, that might be a bit excessive at this point.
Oh yeah, extremely.
I mean, I am leaning away a little bit. I know that like we're tabling Eternal Blue, and that's fine. There's one other song that I'm kind of leaning towards being near the bottom that I'll throw out, maybe to delay the tabling a little bit longer.
Okay, go for it.
But it's Halcyon.
That's actually where I was going to go next. I have the least notes for Halcyon.
I also have very little notes.
I think it was like the placement that it was in the album, like it didn't do anything extra, and I'd kind of already heard like all the good things about it had already kind of happened in other songs. So I think by that point I was kind of just like, oh, this is good, but like it's not like extremely good like some of this other stuff.
I think
I can agree as well.
Yeah.
Let's go. We're in agreement.
Because for like a little over 3 minutes, it feels like I've heard this song earlier in the album before.
Yep.
Like there's nothing different. It's, you know, the penultimate track. Like I don't know. Like you feel like you'd have a little bit of variety. Like Circle With Me and especially Constance are like totally different tracks. And it's like this song's kind of like a whimper leading up to it. I mean, the ending breakdown's kind of cool, but
that was the only note I had was the breakdown at the end is just so hard. It's so good.
But for over 3 minutes, it's like, okay, like I've gotten this a few times before in the album already.
And like it's not bad. Like I still enjoyed it. It was just like when we have to rank these against each other, just only having one part that really stands out amongst the rest of the album just kind of holds it back.
I think like for me, like kind of like flipping it a little bit is like the reason why I like it more than the ones that we put behind it is that I feel like it does like tap more into like the electronic mixing, like especially near the first half of the song, and I really like the way they kind of like infuse that into it. A lot of the vocals soar, a lot of instrumentals soar, especially in that last half, like you guys were saying, like the bridge into the breakdown there, like it's just so nice, and it's a very complex like thing of Courtney LaPlante singing, and she kind of is able to do a little bit more, and I just feel like it's like isolate the things you like about Spiritbox, and it's here, and then from now on they take all those little things and just like make them insane, you know, like they do cool things here, like in kind of what they're known for. But it's better everywhere else on this album.
Yeah. I agree. Cool. This has been painless so far. So Halcyon, we're locking it in at 10. Can I throw something out on the chopping block? Because I think there's only one left that I want to throw on the chopping block. Like
now I'm nervous because I'm running out of songs that I'm like I know for sure where to put it. So
this is a single.
Okay.
Ooh.
Hurt You, I think, is weaker than the rest of the tracks. I like it a lot. It's very good, but I don't know. It just ultimately, I don't think it does anything to differentiate itself, or not even differentiate itself, but like it doesn't like. It's more like quote unquote like formulaic than some of the other stuff. Like it is just kind of like a verse, a verse, chorus, and then it like ends. You know, like it doesn't have any like extremely technical things like some of the other songs. In my opinion, I mean, maybe if you guys disagree, maybe you can sway me. But just upon like listening back through everything, as much as I like the song, I personally don't think that it stacks up to like pretty much anything else that we have left. And you seem concerned, so I'm gonna assume that I am in the wrong here. I would like some thoughts and opinions.
I don't know if I necessarily disagree with you. It's more that, like, I can see what you're saying. I just, like, that wasn't my initial... I don't really know where my initial thought for next was. Maybe it is a Turtle Blue, but... yeah, I don't know. I kind of get your points. I think the biggest takeaway for me with this song is that, like, the connection with Sunkiller, like, the way they kind of flow into each other.
Yeah.
A lot of the music, like, the actual, like, chord structure of the first song and this song have a lot, like, connected that, like... It's almost like a different take on Sunkiller and like more like kind of heavy and intense, and I really like it. Like I that was the first time I was like, whoa, like they didn't just like make a song link into another song. They made it like one whole thing. And so like Hurt You and Sunkiller kind of together, I really like the fact that they're very like connected musically.
Mm-hmm.
Also might just because that was like the first one that happened on the album that like I kind of have that like kind of bias towards it, but
it's fair.
I don't know. I think it does a lot of cool things, the whole song, but I guess I do kind of agree with you otherwise, though. Like, the thing with this song is that there are, like, in the verses specifically, the instrumentals really go on, like, little fun runs that I just, like, you picking out, you're just like, oh, God, yes. That, like, I don't know, I just really liked it.
Yeah, it is a really, really good track. I don't want to undersell that at all. I just, when I'm comparing it in my head to, like, the rest of the shit that we have left to talk about, like, I just can't think of a reason to like put it over anything. What do you think, Bren?
I mean, listening to it again real quick while you guys are talking about it, the riff and the breakdown are kind of boring compared to the rest of what this album has to offer.
Yeah.
Not saying that it's boring, period.
Right,
but
just
like,
in comparison.
Yeah, like Soaking the Strings. Like, the riffs in that song hurt you out of the fucking water. It's just, like, I mean, it's like, I really dig that it is kind of like a continuation of Sunkiller. I mean, I thought that was cool when I first heard it.
Yeah.
But, like the breakdown's literally just, like, one note just kind of, like, strummed out. And, I don't know, like, for me, like, hearing, like, different chords, hearing the opens, hearing, like, you know, different things thrown together in breakdowns, and, of course, in riffs, like, really grabs my attention. And even though I kind of liked this song whenever it came out, now that it's on the album, like, to me, like, the rest of the album just, like, stacks up very well against it. So,
yeah.
I mean, it might have to be next, dude. I mean, I think Eternal Blue's coming up really soon, but this song kind of does less for me.
Cool.
That's fair.
All right. Well,
I see you guys' argument. I don't know if I 100% agree, but like I definitely see it, and like it's definitely not like you guys aren't wrong. So I'll take the L. Because I honestly, like, it doesn't do enough for me that I want to like really argue for it. So I guess it does deserve it, you know? Like
exactly. I wish there could be so much more to it. That's not. Like, I feel like this song's kind of reserved.
Yeah, I think Brennan said it best. It's like when it came out, it was great, but just like when you put it in the album, it's like, oh, like everything else is just kind of more interesting. So
yeah,
that's fair.
Yeah. Cool. Very painless so far. We are cruising through this, but it's only gonna get more difficult as we go on. Any thoughts? Any ideas of what's coming up? I know we've been talking Eternal Blue for a little bit coming up. Is that next, or do we have anything else that we want to pit against it?
Personally, I don't feel like there's anything left that I'm kind of like back and forth on being above it, or I mean below it rather. So. I would like to claim that I think Eternal Blue fits here pretty well. But do you guys have any other songs that you think do not do what Eternal Blue do?
Brennan.
I can't really. I mean, maybe like for some reason I keep coming to We Live in a Strange World.
That's where I was gonna go next, actually. Yeah.
I mean, like to me, like these two songs, like it's kind of ironic that they're both like right next to each other because like Eternal Blue's kind of like We Live in a Strange World, but does more, but that doesn't make it like much better. Like I really don't know how to like describe that, but like I don't know, like I'm like this song really didn't do a lot for me. I don't think it's bad, but like the like I wouldn't say EDM, but like the kind of like. I like the electronic vibes I thought were pretty cool.
Yeah.
But, I mean, does that really, like, edge it out over much?
Yeah.
Not in my opinion.
That's kind of where I was at, because, like, I do really like, the song really stands out because it has, like, almost that pop feel to start out with, like, the weird, like, techno shit. And, like, it does a lot of really cool things. I do really enjoy the song. And, like...
If I could throw a random comparison out there... It like the Stand Atlantic album that came out last year kind of hits me with the same vibe as like Silk and Satin, like not in the sense that like the songs are similar, but the fact that like the albums are doing like different things, and then this happens to be like the electronic track.
Yeah.
And
I mean, I would say it's not nearly to that extreme, but like I can definitely see your thought process there.
Like I don't know, like I hear this song and like I just think of like that compared to that album and this compared to this album. But then of course like they do hit like some chords and shit. But
yeah, I mean I think that like I think We Live in a Strange World is like a stellar example of their ability to kind of like do these like really big like build-ups with like really good payoffs and stuff, like just their talent for like constructing and deconstructing songs, but I also think that like there are other songs on this album that do that better, so that doesn't necessarily save it from like being on the chopping block right now.
See, that's a pretty solid comparison, because I kind of said the same thing about Eternal Blue, that I feel like other songs in the album do it better. However, this is the first time I've completely disagreed with you guys.
Wow.
And not that like I think like, oh, We Live in a Strange World should be way higher. In fact, I think it probably just deserves to be above Eternal Blue, because I think We Live in a Strange World does something so cool. I wrote so many notes for it, because I love that like they really lean into the EDM bits that kind of like sprinkle everywhere. Like they lean into it right off the bat. And you're like, whoa, or like they're really trying something here. And then as you get through the second verse, it starts to like sprinkle in some more like guitar riffs, some more like little drum fill runs and shit. Like it's really cool. And then the second chorus hits and it becomes really heavy. Like that kind of takes the lead on it. And it's like, oh, okay, cool. Like we've transitioned out. But then as you get to like the bridge and the finale of the song, they like combine the two together. And Brennan, you said that Eternal Blue does less. The fucking riffs at the end of this goddamn song hit so hard. I don't know how you feel this way. Like the entire end, like the last minute of We Live in a Strange World is delicious. It kind of blows my mind. I'm like, I get that I'm outvoted, but like, wow, like I don't agree at all. I think it's Eternal Blue, Tear Gap, We Live in a Strange World in my mind.
See, for me, I'm like, I think Eternal Blue should go over We Live in a Strange World, just because I think it, not that it like does more, but like, because I mean I agree with everything you said. Like I like We Live in a Strange World. I like both of these songs. I also just feel like you're really underselling Eternal Blue, because I think that song does a lot of things right. And not that We Live in a Strange World doesn't do anything right, but like, I don't know. I think that Eternal Blue like evokes more of like what I come to Spiritbox for than We Live in a Strange World, if that like makes sense. Like I think that it's like a very like, I don't even know how to like phrase it. I just think that they check all the boxes of like the things that I like from their music, especially on this album. Like it does the big like sweeping clean vocal things. They have a lot of like different layering. They do a lot of like, they switch up the instrumentals at different parts. They do a really good job like building things up. Like especially like toward the end, I know we mentioned this earlier, where they like really switch up like the drum beats and stuff, and like it just adds so much like flavor, so much interest. Just kind of reinvigorates it. But I don't know. I mean, like, to me, these are kind of close. Like, I'm not gonna be super fucking pissed if I lose this fight, but I will say that, like, personally, I think Eternal Blue should be over We Live in a Strange World. So, Brendan, ultimately, you're just gonna be the tiebreaker here.
So, in an almost 3-minute song, I have 58 seconds that truly pays off the minute 50 I had to go through to get there. And that's We Live in a Strange World. Like, because the song, I mean, we've talked about it, it is a good expose, and like how they're good at like kind of taking it away and then like bringing it back. And I feel like they take it away for too long in We Live in a Strange World, because like after the electronic buildup, you kind of just go to like a simple chord progression, and then Kyle, you're absolutely correct. In the last 58 seconds is just pure deliciousness. But I had to wade through almost 2 minutes to get there of things that I've heard before and don't really like do anything I think that's like revolutionary. But on the contrary, I can't really say that Eternal Blue does a lot of like innovative stuff. I do like how like the payoff is quicker, and it definitely gives me a better sense of them like taking away and giving back. I don't know, like the song just has it, like to me it feels like it has more going on like for a longer duration than We Live in a Strange World. So I would go with Eternal Blue over. But
Cool.
yeah. Well, I mean, that last 58 seconds is delicious, though. You are totally correct. Yeah. It's just
I like both songs.
Yeah.
It's just
I think the first 2 minutes make the last 58 seconds even better, is how I feel about it. But
I can agree. I just
We
like
see it
Eternal Blue
differently.
better.
Yeah, I just think Eternal Blues, like, it's got more going on.
I
feel.
appreciate the attempt at doing something like more unique. Like nowhere else in the album do they really do like they kind of like give you one taste, another taste, and then kind of grow it into another thing. Like this is like the only time that happens in the album, and I really appreciate that.
It's fair.
Personally.
Oh yeah, I do too.
But we move on.
Yeah,
it's made it this far.
We have 6 songs left. Do we want to do a round of tabling so that we have a top 3 and a bottom 3 to work with?
I'm down.
Let's do it.
Okay. I'm gonna go first. I'm gonna table the Summit.
Damn it!
Is that what you're gonna do? Yeah.
I was gonna table that.
Oh man.
All right, Kyle. I'll give you a second to think. Brennan, what do you want to table?
Secret Garden.
Fuck! That was what I was leading to next.
I am absolutely in love with that track.
I'm in love with both of those
Absolutely
tracks.
same.
Incredibly, I'm so glad we're on the same page. I want to table. See, I was gonna table Yellow Jacket,
Ooh.
but then I scrolled down on my notes and I saw Constance, and I'm gonna go with Constance.
That's the smarter move.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yes.
Because I really
Yes.
enjoy Yellow Jacket, but damn, is Constance just gorgeous.
Yeah.
So
Constance
I'm gonna go with
is
Constance.
a masterpiece. That's definitely the correct choice, I think.
Yeah.
Yellow Jacket is very good too. We are going to have to what?
What does that leave us with, like overall?
That leaves
Sun
us
Killer.
with Yellow Jacket, Circle with Me, and
Sun Killer. Ooh.
Do we want to do a recap before we get into this, or do we want to wait until we order these?
No, do it. Let's see where we've been.
Okay.
Yeah.
So 12 is Holy Roller, 11 is Silk in the Strings, 10 is Halcyon, 9 is Hurt You, 8 is We Live in a Strange World, 7 is Eternal Blue. And the battle for the next 3 spots is between Sun Killer, Yellow Jacket, and Circle with Me.
Ooh.
I'm gonna say,
Ooh.
I mean, this is fucking tough. This is really tough. I'm gonna say that I think Sun Killer is the best of those 3, but it's fucking close.
No.
No.
I
was
disagree.
like, Sun Killer is the next. Oh, it's the wait.
No, I like that one a lot.
I was really thinking you were gonna say is next because that's kind of where I'm leaning. Actually,
Okay. No, I mean,
That's
if that's where
actually-
you want to put it, that's fine.
Yeah, that's actually where I'm leaning too, because like I feel like Sun Killer is the track that they play when they're walking on stage,
Just
especially
fair.
like with that long opening. Although granted, it does set up the album very well.
Mhm.
Like, I mean, like it fits the song. It does what it's supposed to do, and then of course like the payoff, because like the riffs, like, I mean, I really like. I don't like that it's so long, but I like how they set up the breakdown.
Same.
Where it's like the strumming and like you just like hear her like whispering,
Yeah.
but then like and this is what I'm saying with like the double tap riffs, like the 2 taps like kind of like leading into the track, like whenever they actually like bring that in with like instrumentals with chords and shit, like it just hits so fucking hard. And then they even take it down. It's like Pool Spray, dude. Like they just fucking they're just going down the scale. It's like, oh fuck, excellent track, but.
I agree. I definitely agree with you. Like, I feel like it lasts a little too long for me. It definitely does kind of have the vibe of like the first like minute and a half of the song or something kind of feels like a walkout song, and then it becomes the song Sun Killer. And like, not that like it matches the vibe, and obviously it belongs at the beginning of it, but it like this song feels like a really, really solid like tone set for the rest of the album, while also doing a lot of cool things. Like some of the, like the main notes I had was like I really love the way the riff grows in like the first verse to the second verse. Like the first time around, it's like just the bass doing like the main backing like riffs, and then the second verse comes around and the guitar is like doubling it, and it's like really making it grow. And I'm like, oh, that's fucking tasty, you know. And I really like the abrupt transition into like the whispery Sun Killer Sing Me to Sleep bit.
Yeah.
And the way that it grows back with like the really kind of weird modulation of like rhythm and tempo and stuff, like, is really cool. However, I feel like I like that middle, like, How long is the song? I actually don't know if it's out in my head. Where are you at? Sunkiller. How long are you? Yeah, nearly 4 minutes. I feel like the middle 2 minutes is what I adore about it, and the last minute and the first minute, I'm like, okay, and then it ends, and I go, all right, and then it goes to the next song. I'm really there for the meat in the middle. And
I think my thing is just that I'm so burnt out on Circle With Me that I don't really want to put it any higher.
That is fair, honestly, because that's if I'm being honest with you, that's the other one that I'm kind of back and forth in my head about with.
Because the more you talk about Sunkiller, I can definitely see, and the more I look on my notes, I think Yellow Jacket should be above that for sure, but I don't necessarily think that Sunkiller should be beneath Circle With Me, just because
I'm
it's
actually
great,
totally cool,
but it's great. It has no real flaws. Cool breakdown at the end, but maybe this is just because I'm burnt out on it because I've listened to it so much. But I don't know. It's cool. I found Sunkiller to be more interesting, but that might just be because I've listened to it for the first time today.
Before you agree, Brennan, I'd like to put out a point because it sounds like you're about to agree. I'd like to put out a point, and the main thing that makes me push Circle With Me a little bit farther than Sunkiller is that Circle With Me feels like it knows exactly the speed it wants to go and the momentum it sets from the very beginning. It hits, the riff is just chugging the whole time. It is just so tasty. Every single transition is just so beautifully done. All the guitar runs in the bridge, the most tasty shit I've ever heard in my life. It just there's just such a power and a momentum pushing through the song all the way to the finish line that I'm fuck yes. The whole package, fuck yes. Whereas with Sunkiller, like I said, I feel like the beginning kind of sets a tone, then the real meat happens, and then it's just kind of setting the tone into the rest of the album after the song ends. They could have been a little interlude bit, a minute-long interlude bit instead after the song ended to me. So because I feel like Circle With Me knows exactly the momentum and the pace it wants to go at. That's why I like Circle With Me more. It's very close though, because that stuff that Sunkiller does in the middle is really fucking cool. I love the way it builds. Like I said, I really love a lot of the stuff it does. But to me, the fact that Circle With Me feels just a condensed let's go, and they just fucking hit it. They nail it. Yeah. Every transition is so clean. I really appreciate that, and I like that more.
Yeah, and I agree with that. I'm just kind of in the opposite camp where it's I like the fact that Sunkiller is kind of drawn out because I just really enjoy, as you know, because I say this in all these fucking reviews, I like it when songs really just build up from nothing and you just get this really big feeling of the song is growing and evolving, and I just I think Sunkiller is great for that. And even though, because I know for you it's the beginning and the end are kind of whatever. For me, I just enjoyed it the whole way through because I just liked how it started at nothing and built up into this beast of a song and then transitions into the next thing. I think that just did it more for me. But again, it's personal taste. I'm not gonna be butthurt either way of how we order these because they're both very good songs. They both do different things well, I think. So, Brennan,
back to you.
Where are you at?
I mean, I'm in a similar camp with Circle With Me than I am in Holy Roller. I don't know if it's just fatigue on my part, but I mean, it is an absolutely incredible song. Everything Kyle has said is absolutely correct.
Yeah.
This song starts right off, it knows exactly what it's going to do, and it just does it. The chugginess, even the little chorus. It's not my favorite chorus, but that doesn't mean at all that it's bad.
Yeah. I think I literally put that in my notes. The chorus isn't my favorite, but it's not bad.
I don't there's just parts of other songs that we've put below it that I think smoke it. The breakdown though is just like I was saying before, I really like it whenever it's not just opens or it's not just one note in a breakdown. Fucking throw some different chords in there. Really spice it up. And Circle With Me definitely pulls that off. As far as Sunkiller goes, I do agree with Tyler that the song kind of literally builds from nothing. And Kyle mentioned this as well. It's sick that whenever Courtney LaPlante gets introduced, the bass is just doing like that simple like 2-tap fucking like strum pattern or whatever. And then like it kind of leads to something where it's just like her singing with like a little bit of like, I mean, not like electronics, but like kind of in the background. And then like the guitar and bass just come in. It's just like, holy fuck. And then like I said, like the lead up to the breakdown is just like, I think it's just a tad long, but the payoff, holy shit. Like, oh man, this is so tough. I mean,
can I throw out another thing that only you are going to get, Brennan? Sunkiller gives me Destiny Potato vibes, like really hard. Yeah.
Dude, I had a buddy I was playing Axis and Allies with, and he was like I was playing some music. I think I was actually playing Spiritbox. And he was like, "Have you ever heard of Destiny Potato?"
Only I'm not the only one who's heard of them.
Fuck! I'm like, I know a guy who knows that band. And it was actually my buddy Dave. He was up at Maruth with us one time. I don't know if you remember him. But dude, that shit cracked me up. But yeah, you're totally on the ball with that. If you've
heard of Destiny Potato and if you agree that sounds similar.
Yeah, Lun is a hell of an album. Let me tell you. Oh, but I mean, put a gun to my head, I'd probably put Sunkiller above it. But everything Kyle said was on point, though.
I will say something that I've noticed from both of your arguments here that I don't know, like, what if this will sway you one way or the other. Is that you both have mentioned that you might just be fatigued on Circle With Me. I don't listen to Spiritbox as much, so I haven't listened to the song as much. And my initial take from listening to Circle With Me today for the first time and since it came out, I think, is that I like it more. I just want to put that. I found that quite interesting that you both mentioned fatigue on it, and I knew that it was a single, but to me, because I don't have that much fatigue with it, my idea with it is.
Yeah, but the thing is too,
pushes it out.
With Constance and Secret Garden, I've been listening to those for even longer, and I'm not fatigued for those.
Oh, same thing with Blessed Be. If Blessed Be were on this album, I would be dope. Fucking batting heads with you dudes, trying to put that number one. Straight up.
Honestly, I wish they would have put Blessed Be on the album instead of Holy Roller.
Holy Roller.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I don't know. I just was making that point because I get that
it's
there are
a fair
singles
argument to make.
Yeah. It's I don't even know if that's a point one way or the other. It's just something I've noticed specifically with this one. So.
Oh yeah.
Before you make your decision, Brennan.
Oh, Sunkiller all day.
All right. Sounds good.
Yes.
I'm down for that.
I think I've gotten Brennan to side with me on every
single
major
one
argument
so far,
today.
Yeah. No, don't you worry. I've made marks of it. Yeah. It's like a big fat 0 on my side, and yours has got 12. It's great. I love it.
Well, I mean, I totally agreed. I totally agree with Kyle when he said Yellow Jacket was the best of the three.
Yeah.
I thought hands down, dude. Yellow Jacket slaps.
I mean, going back and looking over my notes, I don't really know why I disagreed with that to begin with, because I think you're right. It's a really solid track.
I think it has the best breakdown on the album.
It does. I put in my notes that it's not the heaviest thing I've ever heard, but it's so nasty that it made me audibly just go ooh and pause the track and rewind it when it does that one breakdown. I was making the fucking Bernie
Stank
Sanders
face.
Meme face. So I was this is some
Can I tell you guys a story of listening to this album today?
Yeah.
And it's my favorite thing that happened over the course of the day was Yellow Jacket started, and it's very abrupt. It just hits you. In fact, my first note in all caps is, whoa, what's happening? Because it just really fucking smacks into your face like a Mack truck. I got so into it that I was sitting in my recliner in the other room listening to it just like this, yes! And
yes.
My dog came up to me and started whining and patting at me because she thought I was having a seizure or something. She was worried that I was not okay because I was just throwing down so hard. I was fuck yes!
Oh my God.
I love this. This is so good. The breakdown was hitting so good. The chorus is really, I think, while they're not the most complex things, I feel like the chorus is just, it's so good, dude. I don't know. This whole song is just very odd, yet so satisfying to me.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
Yeah, I don't know. It's so clean. I don't know. I can't come up with a really big negative thing for it. It does a lot of weird stuff that I feel sets it apart from some of the other things that we have left that are super in Spiritbox wheelhouse. But it also does them so well, so tasty, so clean, really solid breakdown that I really like it.
Yeah, I agree. I really liked, because like when the Sam Carter feature starts, like I figured it was just going to be like there and then that was going to be it, but like the fact that like it then goes into like the chorus or whatever, and then they're kind of layering his vocals on Courtney's vocals, and it sounded so good, and I just like that was incredible. Like such a good choice on their part to mix it that way.
Yes. 100% agree.
I'm just listening to this breakdown again. And I'm like, this is so fucking
man.
nasty, dude.
It's so good, dude.
Oh man, I love it.
This is like the sleeper on the album for sure. Because like,
Yeah.
is it like anything else? No, but like, damn, is it cool? I love it so much.
That song is definitely like it's like the underdog that deserves to be like this high on the list.
100%. I
For
feel
sure.
like I'd be curious to know like people that are like huge like Spiritbox fans or just in general like super objective about it review this. And I would be really curious to see where specifically this one lands, because I feel like it's very different than like everything else on the album. So will people think that's really good or really bad? I don't know. But like to me,
I would
so
hope
cool.
everyone thinks that it's good, because it is.
Same. Because I think it's really cool.
I don't know. If you hear that breakdown and you don't just like fucking
you're just
crinkle
like-
in on yourself with fucking
You just like
the middle
crumple.
core feels, like I don't know, man.
Just sitting there like, I don't know. I don't know about this one.
You know,
kinda-
like you
this
know
is
a
kinda
song
weak,
is good
guys.
when it makes your body contort just from listening to it in like a good way. It could also be really bad if it makes your
It
body
could be.
contort. And you
Yeah.
know, like if I'm listening to like Taylor Swift, I will usually just the whole time because I hate it. But like this is a good kind of crinkle, you know. Like
You just get crumpled, dude. You're
Good
like,
kind
oh.
of crinkle. This is the best kind of crinkle. It's like the same kind of crinkle that you get when you pull like the protective layer off the iPhone for the first time. Like that.
Oh, I just nut
like,
when that happens.
Oh.
But,
yeah, exactly. It's like that kind of sound. It's just like so satisfying.
Or, like,
And your body
I'll be
crinkles,
like some new Oreos or something. Just like,
Ah, yes. There you
God
go.
damn.
Wow. Damn, we're getting a little off track. Anyway,
The ASMR in this
Yellow
video is about to
Jacket,
get
we're locking
lit.
that in at 4. It's great. Amazing track. We are left with the top 3. We have The Summit, we have Secret Garden, and we have Constance.
I'm
Where are
glad.
we at? This is tough.
Whoa.
I know where I'm leaning, but I want to. What do you guys want? What do you think? Is there a single track that we think is superior or worse than 2 other tracks?
Man, it's hard because there's a way that I'm leaning for third, and that I'm not super sure about 1 and 2 personally. It might have been given away by the fact that I wanted the other 2 in the round
I'm
of saves.
leaning that way also, I think. So
Because it's really hard, right? Because Constance does so many cool things. Like, really cool things. The way, I think, like, you were kind of talking about the way you like to hear things build up in Sunkiller. I think this song fucking kills that. Like, it's so good. The building, like, oh my god, where'd my notes go? My phone just shut off. Anyways, Constance. I couldn't find my notes. I just love that, like, it starts out really exposed. It really just, like, grows up. Guitar runs are very just kind of, like, everywhere. Like, they're in time and everything, but they kind of just feel like they're, like, happening, like, reactively. Like, boom, boom, boom. And it's just like, oh, what's happening? And the thing that I like use to describe this song is that it feels like it's very like echoey and distant for a lot of it, and like it really creates this really cool like sound space that you kind of live in while you're listening to it. And the moment the chorus hits, it like fills every gap so perfectly in like the openness and the distantness of it.
yeah,
And it's just so satisfying. Like, holy shit. As far as album enders goes, this one is very high tier because like,
oh
it's just,
yeah.
it is such like, not only is it like satisfying that happens, like I said, but like the fact that this is the way the album ends after like so many cool little things they tried everywhere, like the way the songs like together, just like, ooh man, like, they do like the
Yeah.
little slowdown and the drive to the end as well, like hit that final like resolution too. Like, oh my god, the song
Yeah, it
like,
works. It works so well as the album ender. I'm so happy that they chose to do that one last.
Same.
Same.
Like this song is just like pure emotion. Like that's really what it is. Like it is like sad, but it's like beautiful, and it's just oh my god. Like normally, like I feel like a lot of times when we talk about like absolute bangers, it's more like in your face, like complex bullshit. But like this is not that, but it still like manages to hit that level of like this is just so good and it hits so hard, just in like a completely different way than we're necessarily used to, you know. But that being said, I do think it should be third because I do think that the other two songs just add like an extra layer of complexity, and sort of like encapsulates their sound as a whole a lot better.
Yeah.
But man, like this song is just perfect. Like it is incredible. I haven't been able to stop listening to it since it dropped as a single, and I will continue to not stop listening to it because it is just it's great.
It's so good, dude.
Man. So there's another band called Darko US that they released a deathcore album like earlier this year, and they released a very similar track called Donna. I mean, it was wild. Like they both came out like within the same month. It was like Constance and Donna. And both of those tracks really show that, you know, even though these bands have just this fucking edge to them and like, you know, they can just beat the fucking brakes off of guys like just with heaviness and riffs and oh my god, like at that point like Holy Roller was out, like Rule of Nines, Blessed Be. And then all of a sudden, like, they just show you, like, a different side of them. And it's just, like, raw emotion. I don't know if it was this lady's, like, grandma or whatever. But, like, it just shows, like, the complexity of, like, you know, human beings for me. Because, like Tyler said, like, this song was just, like, 1,000% just emotion. Like, just raw emotion. And it, like, it builds really well. Like, the payoffs are awesome. Like, once again, it's not my favorite chorus, but like it totally fits like what they're going for. I mean, it's just like, in my opinion, it's like the perfect album ender. And I'm so happy that they put this here. But I do agree it has to be number 3, without a doubt.
Definitely.
I feel like the song just like fits being an album ender so well. Like I know
Yeah, it really does.
I'd be very curious to know like if they wrote it with the intent of it being the album ender for this upcoming album when they did it, because like even like the ending of the song, like after like that breakdown, is like you hear like the crackling of like the distortion going like underneath like the piano and everything kind of descending as well until like they like subside together, and it's like such a beautiful like way to like show like we did like these two things that we know how to do so well, and they perfectly like close together at the end, you know, like it's like so like perfect, like close the book kind of thing. And I was just like, wow, man! Like I was getting chills by the end of that song, dude. Like,
yeah, man,
it really works as an album ender. So I'd be curious. But
yeah,
put that behind us.
A big
Get that shit out of
but.
here.
We're left with 2 just absolute heavy hitters. I'm not gonna fucking touch this shit yet. I want one of you to dive in to this because I don't know. The Summit and Secret Garden are unequivocally the best 2 songs on this album.
Seeing how everyone hates me? Oh, okay. No, yeah, you go ahead. It's fine. I like. I was ready to throw myself on the grenade.
I will gladly jump on this landmine that lays before us. For me, I am extremely biased towards Secret Garden. I feel like the tappies mixed with like the bass kind of like driving the track is just fucking ear porn to me. Like it kind of reminds me of, I mean, another like totally off the wall comparison here, but Dance Gavin Dance and I Told Them I Invented Times New Roman. There's a part where it's just like the guitar just kind of like bap, 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 and you hear like, you know, some shit in the background. It's kind of like that, but on steroids. Because like you feel like fucking tappies like the whole time, and then obviously like, you know, you hear the double kick and the bass just fucking like I said, driving the song, and that like with Courtney LaPlante's like vocal ability over top of all that is just insane. And then I think that Secret Garden probably has like probably the best chorus in the album. Obviously that's subjective. I mean, I could be very wrong with that. I don't know where you guys feel with that, but like, I mean, the chorus, like I hear it and it's just like, oh my God, like this is, to me, it's just the best. And then like they go through like the second verse, it's the same as the first, and another chorus, and then like it's like an elongation of the chorus to end the song, but like, you know, she just says like, what is it? No one will do whatever for me or whatever. I can't, the words just escaping me right now. There, nobody waits for me. That's it. It's just like just hearing her like ring that out with like just the hard chords going on in the background, to me, it's just like the absolute perfect ending for the song.
Definitely.
Like for me, it's just like, it's 3.5+ minutes of just like perfection. And I'm not saying that the Summit doesn't do its best, but I just feel like the Summit, like to me, like I just prefer Secret Garden. And obviously that's subjective, but we're at the top two here. So I would go Secret Garden number
points. 1. Kyle, where are you at?
I totally agree with your points, Brennan, about Secret Garden being like, the tappies just really come through. I feel like the chorus really does like have a very satisfying thing. But the thing for me with Secret Garden actually is that the instrumentals specifically in it, I feel like are probably, I don't know if I will regret it, but I feel like they're like the best on the track. I think the instrumentals, like the way the guitar just fucking runs through the chorus, like holy shit. However, I'd actually think I'd go with the Summit. And that's because my initial reaction when I heard the Summit was I stopped and I listened to it again 3 times because I really like the Summit. To me, it kind of like is an encapsulation of everything that we've talked about that we've liked in separate songs. Where like it kind of has that slow build up in the beginning, like we were talking about how the beginning, the opener and the ender kind of had. It has a lot of really cool like electronic effects added in. Like I don't know if it is a vocoder or if there's just like a vocode-esque thing with her voice near the end there, and also in one chorus where it kind of like roboticizes her voice a little bit. It's very cool. I also feel like they do a lot of really cool layering shit. Like in the bridge, there's like the really distant screams beneath her doing the thing where she's singing like the actual like
so good.
And I'll tell you what, man, the most pleasing moment in this entire album listening for me is the first time the chorus hits and she hits that first note of the chorus and like the whole band comes in, and I'd be very curious to know like what the actual like harmonic structure of it is, because like that moment when she hits the high note, very like falsetto-y, all the chords hit all at once and kind of build like down, I think a little bit, is like the word I immediately wrote was angelic. Like wow, like every single time I hear it, like I'm listening to my ears right now and I just heard that happen, and it like I get chills unlike any other. Like it's my favorite like isolated moment in the entire album for me. With like that moment, the way that the instrumentals really do a really great job at accompanying her. I also think it might be the best vocals on the album, which is like my big thing between the two, right? Like in my battle for which one's better. I think the vocals really stand out in the Summit, whereas the instrumentals really stand out in the Secret Garden. But they both do the opposite really well as well. I just think like the Summit is able to take everything that we've been like, oh, we like that you tried this, or we like this from you in general, pack it into one package, and it fucking hits, dude. Like, man, Summit is so good. That's where I'm leaning. So inadvertently, Tyler, by not being the one to jump on it first, you have put yourself in the hot seat.
Great. Well, I agree with literally everything both of you said about each of the songs. Kyle, you'll be happy to know that Brennan and I are not going to side against you on every argument because you were about to win this final argument.
I'm totally not mad.
I have to go with the Summit. Like it is just like Kyle said, I think it is just the perfect encapsulation of everything that we love about all these different parts of different songs throughout the whole album. It's just all here in one cohesive package with the Summit. Like it does, it builds up and deconstructs, and they just have so much mastery over the ability to do that. And this song is just like the prime example of that. that's one of the if I had like two if I had some like buzzwords that I would use to just describe this album as a whole, it would be brutal, beautiful, and intricate. And I think that this song manages to take all of those elements and use them in the most cohesive way. It's just an absolute masterpiece. And that's not to have anything against Secret Garden, because that song is an absolute fucking god tier song also. But yeah, I mean, I just think that the Summit just sort of takes it to like a bit of a higher level, in my opinion. Like Kyle said, shit's angelic. Like it's just it gives me goosebumps when I listen to it too. Like it is just incredible. It was like the standout track listening to this album. It's the song I went back and listened to the most because it just stuck with me so hard, because it was just such a prime example of like how talented these guys are. And just like the best example of like their unique sound that they've been able to craft, and it is just absolutely incredible. I have to go with Summit. This is the best track.
I'm totally not mad with that.
One might say that the Summit is the peak of their songwriting ability.
Oh, Eternal Blue.
No. Oh no, it all went to shit right at the end. Like,
and if you didn't click out of the video on that note, I'm gonna recap.
Say, wrap this bitch up.
Full ranking here. At number 12, we have a Holy Roller. Number 11, Silken Strings. Number 10, Halcyon. Number 9, Hurt You. Number 8, We Live in a Strange World. Number 7, Eternal Blue. Number 6, Circle With Me. Number 5, my phone just broke. Hold on. Now it says Circle with Meg. Sorry. Number where even was I? What did I leave off on?
5, I think.
5? Yeah. Okay, so 5 is Sun Killer. 4 is Yellow Jacket. 3 is Constance. 2 is Secret Garden. And number 1 is The Summit. Yeah, we made it. We did it. And that was pretty painless, all things considered. We ended up getting through that pretty quickly. We had a lot more similar feelings on a lot of those songs than I thought.
Same.
Which is great. It's always good when we get through these without like ripping each other's throats out. But yeah, that's gonna do it for this installment of the Talks a Lot Boys. If you liked what you heard, please let us know by giving us a like. It helps us out a ton. And please let us know in the comments below what your personal rankings of all of these songs are. We always love going back and hearing what other people think of this album, because music is subjective and everyone's opinions are different. And it's great stuff. As we said at the beginning of this video, we have also just dropped a review for Idola's new album, The Architect. So if you enjoyed this, maybe go check out that review as well if you like Idola, because that album is an absolute masterpiece as well. Really, really good stuff. You can subscribe to our channel, The Talks a Lot Boys, so that you can find out when we have other reviews like this coming out. We got a couple more that we're planning on doing in the coming months. We're very excited for. If you're a Bill Murray fan or a Wage War fan, we're planning on reviewing their albums in the same way. So stay tuned for that. But I think that does it for us for now. So we have been the Talks a Lot Boys, and we will talk a whole lot more next time. Bye-bye!